Think you are doing everything right? You might just be a little too sure. Best practices, how-to guides, easy knowledge, it's everywhere, shiny and seductive. And when things get tough, it's the first thing most businesses grab for. But the thing is that know-how fits the illusion that you already know. While profitability is actually hidden in understanding just below your knowledge.
Unbound Mind. Businessholics Anonymous.
Meet the third wave of stuck and exhausted business owners at Businessholics Anonymous. The facilitator, Sarah, scans the room. Some glued to their phones, a few mid-call, couple drowning in Slack notifications. Same house, different faces. She knows the drill. She's heard it all before. Having taken a long breath, she was ready to start the session with a round of introduction. Who wants to start? A blonde woman looks up from behind her laptop.
The Headless Chicken Syndrome.
My name is Mary.
She says quietly.
I run a beauty business. My business is doing all right, I suppose. It's just me who is a nervous wreck. I fear every Monday morning, as I don't even know what to expect. Take last week, for example. Monday, damaged shipment. Tuesday, 2 staff off sick. Wednesday, website crash mid-sale. Thursday, a viral bad review. Friday, payroll panic. This isn't my first year. I know what to do. Every solution is tried and tested. Yet every morning begins with a new emergency. Every time, it's about money, time, and human resources. My calendar is packed with meetings. My inbox overflowed with urgent requests. And my team constantly needs guidance on new issues cropping up left and right. We're busy. We're working hard. And we're burning through cash faster than expected. Honestly, I don't even know why I started this damn business. Don't get me wrong, I love what I do. But running a business feels more like running like a headless chicken.
Sarah listens. She's been Mary.
Here's the thing. You're not failing because you don't know what to do. You're failing because you think you do. When was the last time you asked why?
Sarah suddenly wondered. The question hung in the air like an albatross.
You see, we don't chase best practices because they work. We chase them because we think we know what the problem is. But most of us never stop to ask if our diagnosis is even real.
Then she reaches for a small matryoshka doll.
Look, this is your business. Every layer is an assumption, a symptom, a surface fix. We treat what we see. We stop at the first layer, mistaking symptoms for problems. But you have to keep opening, keep looking deeper.
She began to unpack the dolls one by one.
The real problem, always hidden, always beneath what we think we know. Assuming the outer layer is all there is, that is the illusion. There is so much focus given to treating symptoms, trying to fix problems through trial and error. Everybody offers the latest best practice as a cure-all. But that's like playing a game of whack-a-mole. Problem pops up, whack it down. Another one, whack again. But the underlying issues remain untouched, while our efforts and resources are already exhausted. And when we finally decide to course correct, often it's already too late. You can keep pouring water into a bucket with a hole, or you can fix the hole. Quick fixes don't build businesses, they just delay the inevitable. And this deeper issue drags your business down. And sometimes the bravest move, admitting you've been holding the wrong bucket all along.
It's not what we don't know that ruins us. It's what we think we know that just isn't so.
Your business isn't broken because you're clueless. Well, if you are, well, obviously not you. It's struggling because you've been overconfident in the wrong answers. Mary isn't unique. She's what happens when we confuse knowing with understanding. So, let's dive into the real consequences of the illusion of knowing. And they aren't per se.
Unbound Mind. Unwanted consequences.
You might be surprised by this, but obsessing over how to without ever asking why is the real threat to your business. Because tactical patch-ups can't fix structural rot. And the price you pay, honestly, it's brutal. Wasted time, money, suffering sales, performance, effectiveness, and morale. Falling behind competitors who actually look under the hood. And from here, it gets only worse.
Trust erodes, customers vanish, staff get burned out and bounce, productivity drops. Turnover spikes, costs explode.
Actually, everything you dread comes from overindulging in quick fixes, and all you are doing is reacting. And yet, the issue remains exactly where it used to be. It's like putting a band-aid on an ulcer. It covers nothing, treats nothing, and delays the real diagnosis.
Unbound mind.
Imagine you're unwell. You go to a doctor. Sorry, wrong image. Here's the right one. No tests, just a prescription. If it works, great. If it doesn't, try another one. Months later, you're worse off. The root cause is still there, but now you're also dealing with side effects. That's exactly what happens in business. Quick fixes make it look like progress. You are constantly implementing something. You are constantly improving, but underneath, things are festering. And here, where it gets weird. The more we know, the less we see. And the less we properly see, the less we understand. Every so-called truth you cling to might be the very reason why you're stuck. Which brings us to this.
The principle of emptiness.
Once, a professor asked a Zen master about his teachings. As the master spoke, the professor boasted of his understanding of philosophy, interrupting and displaying little interest in the master's words. The Zen master listened patiently and then offered the professor some tea. The master started pouring the tea into the professor's cup, continuing even after the cup was full, causing it to overflow. Alarmed, the professor exclaimed, "Stop! The cup is full! No more will go in!" The Zen master smiled. "Like this cup, you are full of opinions. How can I teach you unless you first empty your cup?"
Unbound mind.
That's business in a nutshell. We are so busy knowing, there is no space left to understand. You see, often the thing holding your business back isn't a lack of knowledge or effort. You do know and you do work your ass off. It's the illusion of knowing, the assumptions you haven't questioned, the truth you've accepted without proof. The challenge isn't what we don't know, is what we think we know that just isn't so. Like this professor, we are full of knowledge, but the more we think we know, the less we question. And that's how we stay trapped.
Unbound mind.
Still with me? Good. If you're still here, you already had. You are not pouring more tea into a full cup, but you're emptying it one assumption at a time. And if that's you, you'll want to check out the Illusion of Knowing series. In those videos, I explain why your brain loves quick fixes and how they quietly destroy your decision-making and problem-solving. But we are not stopping with psychology, because this isn't just bad thinking, it's bad business. And here, what's no best practice will ever tell you. Strategy dispels the illusion. Because strategy isn't just liberating, it's profitable. That's why I wrote From Purpose to Profit, and you can access some of its strategic wisdom just there in the comments.
Coming up next.
The illusion dispeller.
I don't have time. Our budgets are tight. I had to fix it yesterday. I can't disrupt the process.
I've heard it all the excuses business owners give not to dig deeper or think strategically. What businesses fail to understand, developing a habit of digging out root causes could make all those dreaded issues irrelevant, because strategy isn't just a plan. And definitely it isn't tactics, regardless of what you may have heard all over the internet. Strategy allows you to put your ducks in a row and teach them to fly, information, and to your tune. Think of it this way. Best practices and quick fixes, they're like sheep scattered across a hillside. Strategy is more of a shepherd dog. It brings direction. It keeps the herd together. It ensures everything gets where it needs to go safely, efficiently, and without drama. But what do most businesses do? They throw money at random tactics whenever the budget is available.
I've got a great idea. Why don't we try this? They said it works. I believe it may help.
Exactly. Patching holes without checking for leaks. Sure, on paper quick fixes look shiny, but in the real world, as we said earlier, they bleed morale, waste resources, and kill opportunities. Strategy is different. It forces us to choose our actions intentionally. Every move ties into growth. And if you're looking for a silver bullet, this will be strategy. That said, even the best strategy falls apart if we don't address the real cause behind most business messes, a decision-maker psychology. We love decisive leaders. But what if decisiveness without doubt is just disaster with a great PR agent?
Coming up next,
The confidence paradox.
Now, don't get me wrong, low self-confidence doesn't help leadership. It can turn any life into living hell and any office space into a drama. But when that internal mess gets covered up in overconfidence, that becomes a disaster. Imagine a regional retail chain is killing it locally. The CEO is on high. Everything they touch turns to gold. Naturally, they want more gold. Who wouldn't? So what do? Go national. No real market research, no strategic planning, no risk mitigation scenarios. They naturally assume that what worked here will work everywhere. They overestimate customer demand, ignore cultural differences, underestimate local competition and operational complexity. And the result? Stretched thin, sales flop, stores shut, ego bruised, money burned. That's a textbook example of the overconfidence effect. We overestimate our own ability, knowledge, and accuracy of our judgments. It's a general tendency to think we're better than we actually are. Hype-fueled investors chasing trends on social media, they are driving half the market's chaos. Overconfident leaders are 25% more likely to oversimplify problems and screw up the outcomes. 3 out of 4 people think they are great problem solvers. A quarter of them jump to easy fixes and mess up the hard stuff. Because hey, who needs foresight when you've got ego, right? But wait, there is more. Have you ever heard of a planning fallacy? This is where we underestimate time, effort, and cost, and wildly overestimate anticipated benefits. Such as 40% of corporate change initiatives fail due to overconfident superficial tactics, speaking of the geographical rollout. Of course, in real business, many don't plan at all, with or without overconfidence involved. Honestly, not a good idea. And then there's also the Einstellung Effect, where we become prisoners of our past solutions. We fall back on what worked before, even when the game has changed. And the more experience we have, the more rigid our decision-making can become. That retail CEO, not just overconfident stuck. They were trapped. Their previous wins shaped a mental model they couldn't break. Instead of adapting, they recycle. Instead of questioning, they assumed. That's the Einstellung trap. Success narrows our perspective, so we confuse rigidity with wisdom.
Unbound Mind.
So, why do smart people fall into it? Often it stems from a lack of awareness of what we don't know. This is the challenging point, but likely I have a solution for you. It can also be fueled by flattering feedback and a desire to maintain a positive self-image. Also because society rewards it. Take marketing jobs, for example. In 90% of cases, companies aren't looking for talent. They're looking for a clone. Someone with the exact same industry experience, not transferable skills, not motivation, not the creative capacity to adapt and innovate. Nope. They want a one-trick pony. someone who knows the industry, competitors, and rules from A to Z. The result? Boring products, boring claims, boring innovations. Companies don't have the guts to think outside the box. And marketeers, instead of bold, original thinkers they are meant to be, they become grayscale prisoners, aimlessly marching from one rival to the next, hands tied, brains off. And if that sounds harsh, so be it. This is my alma mater. Also, overconfidence feels like clarity. That's why the trap holds. We believe in our expertise, real or imagined. We cherry-pick ideas that confirm what we already think. We fall for status or perceived superiority, or we love it. We chase action because doing something feels better than sitting in uncertainty. That's just so scary. We trust past wins to guide current choices. We confuse easy answers with truth. And when that happens, overconfidence becomes a curse. We start making superficial decisions, block out doubt, dismiss data, avoid others' perspective. We ignore inconvenient truth, and we tune out anyone who dares to challenge us. I wonder whether any of this sounds familiar. You know, if low self-confidence paralyzes, then overconfidence blinds. And the Einstellung Effect makes deep thinking redundant. Altogether, it feels like clarity, but it's a trap, and it's expensive. Next time you're absolutely sure that this is the way to go, that is your red flag. Dig deeper, ask questions, challenge your thinking. Because owning the decision means owning the outcome, and no amount of certainty protects you from consequences.
Coming up next,
The beginner's mind.
So now we know how the mind tricks us into solving the wrong problems in a wrong way. Here is the big question. How do we fix it? Or better yet, how do we learn what we don't even know we don't know? Well, it's not about learning more. It's about learning to unlearn. That means looking at familiar problems with fresh eyes, free from assumptions, free from expectations. This is what Zen calls beginner's mind. Beginner's mind is the foundational idea in Zen Buddhism. It's about showing up like a total novice. It means staying open, curious, not clinging to what you believe is right. Look, if the self isn't permanent and reality keeps shifting, as it does, then bringing rigid thinking to dynamic problems is not just unhelpful, it's counterproductive. It shouldn't come as a surprise that Steve Jobs was studying Zen Buddhism. It wasn't a formal conversion in the traditional sense, but Buddhism influenced his thinking and design aesthetic. Whether he fully embraced the philosophy in leadership and life is questionable. But this video is about thinking, so the argument stays. In his Stanford speech, he said, "Stay hungry, stay foolish, keep searching, don't settle. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking." That mindset, that openness to new ideas and willingness to challenge assumptions is what we often call a beginner's mind. So beginner's mind isn't just for Zen, it builds trillion-dollar companies, and it works. Studies show that using beginner's mind techniques reduces anxiety. It boosts creative problem solving, innovations, and employee satisfaction. It even lifts academic performance by nearly 15%. Why? Because beginner's mind removes the illusion of knowing. To dive deeper into this, I reached out to Kōshin-sensei, a Japanese Soto Zen monk, who shared some insight into how beginner's mind was introduced by Suzuki Roshi in his classic Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind book. Trust me, we won't be diving into spirituality. There are way better channels for this. Here, it's all about practical mental training. And in a world where everyone's trying to be the expert, beginner's mind might just be your competitive edge. Kōshin-sensei, thank you for joining us. How can we better understand the concept of the beginner's mind?
When you truly embody beginner's mind, there is no shadow of accomplishment within you. The moment we abandon notions of achievement and self-importance, we become authentic beginners. Only then can genuine learning unfold. Beginner's mind is not closed or ignorant. It is utterly empty. It resembles a clear mountain pool, reflecting everything without distortion. As my teacher Suzuki Roshi observed, in the beginner's mind there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind there are few.
And this is exactly what psychology teaches us. And how can someone who has achieved a level of expertise still cultivate and access the beginner's mind?
Knowledge should not be gathered like treasure in a storehouse. Do not dazzle others with your collection of insights. To fully appreciate the nature of things, you must completely forget yourself. Simply receive each moment like lightning that illuminates the vast darkness, with no grasping, with no resistance.
Yeah, I agree. No resistance makes everything so much easier. And could you please say more about the danger of filtering what we want to hear? How can we overcome this tendency?
When listening to another, you must first empty your cup. Usually, instead of listening to others, you hear your own opinion. If it agrees with your opinion, you may accept it. But if it does not, you will reject it, or you may not even really hear it. Set aside all preconceptions and personal viewpoints. Still the inner voice. Listen without judgment, without your own echo. Observe their way, not your reflection. True meaning arises in this silence.
This is so true. It's hard to agree more. And here is the most anticipated question of all, coming straight from our audience. How can we practice beginner's mind?
Ask why again and again. Question all, even the known. Seek fresh eyes and diverse perspectives. Cherish I do not know, for it is fertile ground. Step away. Observe as if for the first time. Ask naive questions. They hold hidden depths. Seek feedback actively. Listen openly. Hear all voices with an open heart. Avoid jumping to conclusions, and be willing to be wrong, for within error lies the seed of wisdom. Cherish each moment, for it offers a new beginning.
Thank you for your time and teachings, Kōshin-sensei.
Thank you for inviting me, Aaron. It was a pleasure to be of service to your audience.
Unbound Mind.
Businesses don't fail because they aren't skilled. They fail because they are oversure. Indulging in surface fixes is like throwing pebbles, or in our case, wasting resources in every direction, and hoping they magically arrange themselves into a road to profitability. But the bigger threat to your business, it isn't ignorance. It's the belief that you've already got it all figured out. That's the real danger, the arrogance of certainty.
Easter egg. What if I told you?
By the way, beginner's mind, or Shoshin, runs deep in Japanese culture. In calligraphy, each stroke is done like it's for the first time, because the moment you think you mastered it, your work dies. In martial arts, overconfidence is the quickest path to defeat. The senior belt who stops learning becomes a rigid, easy target. Even in samurai culture, humility and unlearning were signs of strength. Some seasoned warriors would seek out less experienced teachers just to challenge their assumptions. So, see you in the next video.